So yeah, no, that's what happened.
That is the fucking craziest story I've heard in my life. That's amazing. For real.
No, okay, hold on. I'll say it.
No.
Okay.
Not for that. What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop.
Michael in the building.
Michael, the only guy you watch this show
Michael.
for those of you guys who don't know, Michael and I both work for Theo and Harris. We sell vintage watches. We make commercials for big watch brands. We do like some other things, I guess, as well. But bottom line is we get on YouTube once a week, or really twice this week.
Yeah.
Double the trouble.
And
we talk about watch news, talk about things, watches in the industry, both new and old.
Yeah.
Try to do a little vintage education, bring your perspective, my perspective. And today we're talking about some of the best watches under $5,000.
Yep.
Which there are plenty.
Yep.
I'm wearing one right now.
What?
No.
I was like, did you get that for under $5,000?
You're like, I will give you $6,000 for that watch. And shake on it.
Deal.
Actually, and that is one of them. Actually, vintage Omegas definitely are.
I think vintage kind of deserves its own little. We have stuff that is not vintage.
This is all
new,
modern today, yeah.
But we should hit vintage a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Well, not in this episode. We will hit vintage at a later date. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff under $5,000 to buy. And with that, there's plenty of stuff over the $20,000 mark. That's like shitty. So you know what I mean? Like
that's honestly the worst part.
Yeah.
We obviously see a lot of watches in the metal, and seeing a watch and be like, oh, it's pretty good, and then looking at that little dangling price tag, and you're
totally.
Like, wow.
Totally.
That's
Yeah. The more money, the more money you spend doesn't necessarily mean you get a better watch.
Very quickly.
Like, oh yeah.
Very quickly.
Very like point of diminishing return. Like the value ratio totally flops or totally flips rather. Today's video is sponsored by our friends over at Geology. Geology is a simple and effective skincare regimen designed just for you. You answer a little survey about your skin and your priorities, and they shoot you back their recommendation for their treatment, which we both did. Very happy with it. I think we both have pretty nice skin. I think you're not looking as oily
I'm looking
as
as shiny. That's the biggest issue for me. I'm usually slick with grease.
I know. You look great. I want to talk to you about that later. Anyway, we'll get more into Geology later. First, I guess wristwatch check. You're wearing...
I'm wearing a 34mm Omega Automatic Geneve.
Yep.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
Silver dial, beautiful, nice tritium, love it.
And you have a swatch.
I'm wearing a swatch. I'm wearing a watch that I actually just bought for myself. I bought it on a snow day. I did not expect to buy it. I was not looking for a watch. For real, I really wasn't. In fact, I'm actually in the process of buying another watch.
Really?
Well, we were talking about before,
Yeah.
So this was not something that I was looking for. But this is a Cartier Santos Carré, which was the first Santos with the metal bracelet. The successor is the Galbi. But yeah, this is. I mean, I can wax poetic about this watch for an hour. But ultimately, this watch was designed in the same meeting of industrial and luxury that Cartier's Love was. Used to include the Nail, Audemars Piguet's Royal Oak, Rolex's Gold Submariner. It was this entire era in the 70s of richness meeting industrial utility, and this watch I think is a perfect example. It also is the Gordon Gekko watch.
Listen, I think I could wax poetically about this watch for hours, but
instead,
frankly, it's just the watch that gives me the most attention. Wherever I go.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true.
Like, Christian, your latte? My what? What?
My what did you want? My what?
I'm sorry, do you have Apple Pay? Oh, wait a minute. This isn't an Apple Watch, Michael.
In fact, it's a very expensive Cartier. Have you ever heard of the brand?
Slaps the barista.
No, I'm really nice.
No,
I promise.
You are very nice. It's just the perfect. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I can talk about the historical importance of why I want to wear a gold watch. But really, historically,
it has gotten me the most attention compared to my silver and white.
And I was bullied as a child. Oh my god! I put on this. I have a two-tone version of this watch as well, and I was wearing both of them the other day. I was just like, crazy, huh?
Are we in the black or red?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Like, are you kidding?
Just tell me before I go.
Okay, so let's get in. Okay, so watches under $5,000. I'm gonna start off with the first one.
Sure.
SBG M221.
Grand Seiko.
Grand Seiko's GMT watch, ivory dial, Zaratsu polishing. I mean, this watch is I think it's like perfect.
Yes. You know what's interesting about that watch style specifically? I really got into watches in college, but the weirdest catalyst, or something, a catalyst, because there was a bunch, was I made a video for my high school, like my entire high school, to get accredited or something like that. And the superintendent was talking to me like this, and his watch was peeking out of his suit, and it was a very slim watch with a dial just like that. It wasn't a Grand Seiko, but I remember just thinking like, that is an incredibly cool watch.
Look.
So when I see that watch, that's exactly what I think of.
Yeah.
Because if he was wearing that watch, I would have had the same thought.
Yeah, and you probably would have went and bought the watch. You know,
exactly.
It's like a formative moment.
Yeah, it was just like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, this is okay. So for everyone that isn't familiar, I mean, we're enormous fans of Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko, you know, is a client of ours as well. We produce commercials, you know, for or with Grand Seiko. You know, I think that, you know, Grand Seiko in a nutshell, how would you kind of describe their ethos? How would you describe, you know, the brand?
I would say obviously inspired by nature, but then in a more buyer's sense, aggressively priced, I guess.
The value centric, like, right? I mean,
they're priced right now to rise through the ranks. Just to be like, if you want the best deal in watches right now, it's Grand Seiko.
Basically, any Grand Seiko could probably be 10 to 15 or 18% more expensive than it is, and people would still call it a buy.
Yeah.
But they're doing it on purpose to get your attention so that their brand can grow in America. That is 100%.
100% transparent.
Yes.
They are getting into everybody's minds through that way. Even when we talk to Grand Seiko, they're like, what are your plans for us to dominate?
Yeah,
what else can we do?
Yeah, they are growing so quickly in America, and rightfully so. Obviously, you know, people are always thinking, okay, generally people associate Switzerland with watches, right? That's, you know, whatever. And it's funny, I've talked about this before, but the same way people associate Latin America, particularly Cuba, with cigars.
Yeah.
Whereas Davidoff, these are Swiss cigars, and while Swiss are known for chocolate and watches, they're not known for cigars.
Right.
And Davidoff has a problem getting, you know, market share.
Exactly.
We just associate it doesn't mean it's true. In fact, it's empirically not true. Some of the greatest watches in the world are manufactured outside of Switzerland, like Germany and Japan. It's like, and some of the watches in Switzerland are shit.
It's true. It's
like,
true.
It's a name.
It's why Grand Seiko forms its own, not chronometer, but they have their own standard that is
it beats
surpassing chronometer.
Yep.
And you have a lot to prove at that point in your life. Yes. Even now with technology, people just see Swiss watches.
Yeah, exactly. I like that sense of an underdog. I mean, this is a company that only came to America in the early 2010s, 2012 or something like that, 2013, and they've just been, you know, kicking out, taking names. You basically, you know, issuing special attention to the American market and giving special editions, and there are people from all over the world that are just talking about them, and rightfully so. So this watch comes in just under 40 millimeters, 39.5 millimeters. It has an ivory dial, blue accents, including the GMT hand. It is 13.7 millimeters thick, which is, you know, on like the quote-unquote thick side, but if you hear it, but I really think it does a lot to combat the whole dress watch feeling.
Yeah, 100%.
It makes it feel more like a modern watch. It doesn't feel like a vintage presence, so which I think is really, really great. And yes, it does fall under $5,000. It is $4,600. I would give this watch a buy rating at 6. I would give this watch a buy rating, maybe even like definitely at 6. I mean, 6 and change. So you know what I mean? Like, it's that good.
Yeah,
it's that good.
100%.
And if you look at, you know, Grand Seiko and the attention to detail that they have with their hands and their indices and everything, it's just unbelievable. Brands do not finish this well at this number.
Yes, right.
They don't. So I think that's a fantastic watch under $5,000.
Yes, sir.
Another brand I want to talk about is one of your favorite brands. Nomos.
Nomos is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite brands, just because the pricing, we said it best one time at London Jewelers. We were like, this is essentially a free watch. It's not a free watch, obviously, but pricing-wise, the value with Nomos and their distinct style and their color usage is unmatched. And then you see like you look at the Tetra, for example, which isn't on this list, but you look at a very unique watch that you really can't get an equivalent to at that price, but really even far above too. And then it's $2,000.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, the watch that I put here, which we can talk about this and others as well. Tetra being one, is the Metro. Do you like this design?
I do, yeah.
I think that's such a cool design.
Yeah.
You know?
That is I feel like the most, or one of the most Nomos designs. Like that is what you'll see
It
the
is.
standard of.
This off balance power reserve, the date, which is like perfectly integrated onto the dial. Everything about this watch I think is awesome. And
Did you see the note I put on there right under it?
No.
There's a rose gold
is
version
there?
there. Yeah.
Oh wow, let's look it up.
It's insane. It's obviously not under 5,000, but it was cool to see. I was like, ooh, that's a fun direction.
Wow. And by the way, this Metro with a power reserve, which is complication, end date, end sub-second, which is 37 millimeters, extremely wearable. This is a fantastic, on the black cordovan, which is what it comes on, it's a little bit formal, but put that on suede, and it's an everyday watch for someone that is inherently a little bit more formal, but still an everyday watch.
Yeah, of course.
And it's $3,700. Fantastic, fantastic value.
Agreed.
Oh, yes, the rose gold model. So it's about $10,000, $9,700.
Yeah.
Very.
That is gorgeous, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Doesn't have the power reserve, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Wow, what a great looking watch. And then this is, again, no power reserve, but this is their 39 millimeters for you folks that 37 is a little bit too small. 39 is a great size. And this is their silver cut edition. I think this is one of the coolest dials, period, like in the game.
Yeah, I also think the red was a great idea there.
It is.
With the silver cut look.
I agree. I just love that dial texture.
Yep.
We look at a lot of vintage watches, and vintage watches had more texture by and large.
100%.
Rolex linen.
Yep.
Honeycomb.
Yep.
A lot of really cool, interesting textures, and that's not the case. How about even Rolex with their old honeycomb versus their new honeycomb? Have you seen the two compared?
I have, yes.
What do you think?
Old 100%. The new one, it sounds like they heard the nickname honeycomb, and they were like, all right.
I got you, fam.
You know what I mean? And we're like, whoa, that's kind of just something that was what it was called. And they're like, no. You can see the honey dripping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the new honeycomb is cool, but it's not textured. It's nowhere near the old one.
Yeah, it feels oddly too modern.
Yeah.
Like they used the wrong technology to make the honeycomb.
Yeah. I agree. Again, cool watch.
Very cool, yeah.
But
not
I'm
detracting
comparing
from
it to the old one, but we both agree that the old one is cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about even the radium burns on old, like those texture specifically dials? Do you like that?
Yeah.
Love it.
I like seeing. I'm like, what were you doing at 10:11 a.m. that just stopped?
I guess the watch is just you just took it off and never put it back on.
That's It just
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's also nuts just to think about there was a time where just the loom was burning the watch slowly. Obviously, when it stays, it really does. But, like, even as it's swirling, it's just slowly burning.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I love character like that. I think that's very, very cool.
You're like, that's nuts. I love burning things.
Exactly.
What?
One time I burned a shed down, and it started a forest fire.
I'm like, what?
What? You all right?
You want me to cut this?
No, keep it. I want them to know.
I want other people.
I want them to.
I would love.
It could go like Super Gary V on it. Like I want them to know because truth is what sells, and the closer they are to me and the truth, okay. Like shut the fuck.
That's really good.
I like Gary V, but he's
you met him
sometimes. Yeah.
Is he the same way? Like off camera, if you're like, hey, how's it going? He's like, how
you know what? You guys know Gary V. Gary V's a lot more popular now than he ever was. Really, huge. But long story short, his sister, who's also like now like an influencer, Liz, was a teacher at my school. I knew her really, really well.
Oh no way.
Yeah, I grew up like in the shadow of the Vaynerchuk, family.
Interesting.
When I was at school, when I was in grade school, I used to like look at Liz as if she was a celebrity.
Wow.
And this is just when Gary was on Wine TV. So he wasn't even famous yet. But the reason I loved him was because my dad, who traveled a bunch when I was a kid, when he did come home, we would, on the weekend, we would go to Wine Library, which was their wine store. And that was like our bonding thing. I don't know, that's a weird bonding thing for a child.
Yeah, alcohol?
Alcohol, yeah. And my dad would just tell me how, like, proud Sasha, the father, must be of the son because he's a hard worker. So, like, my dad was, I think, subconsciously trying to tell me, like, a son should make his father proud kind of thing, I'm like, okay,
Which you kind of cross the wires and you're like, so I'm proud of Gary V?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you want proud of you.
You want me to be proud of you. You're like, just like Gary V.
Yeah, so as a kid, I loved him, and then when I started my business, or rather, like he kind of made me double down on the business and believe in the potential, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And some of his books, Jab, 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 Right Hook, for one of them, I don't know if it's,
it's not there, it's over there.
Someone was really tactful, really, really interesting. And anyway, long story short, I did meet him, I think once, and he was a really nice guy. And I don't watch his videos anymore, but I don't have any NFTs, so I don't know what the is going on there.
He's
Do you know
really-
what's going on there? I
don't
neither do I. And he addressed a question one time on one of his videos, and everyone was like, "Why you never shut the fuck up? You keep saying the same things. Like, why do you keep saying the same things? Get over it." And he was like, "I keep saying the same things because these are the only things you need to know. And once it becomes redundant for you, stop watching. Like, that's it. You graduated. Go on now." And that was cool. Like, you don't need to keep making up shit. Like, you just teach the same lessons, and hopefully it touches more and more people. And I think that was right. So
Interesting.
I'm not a hater. I like Gary Vee quite a bit.
You're a GV lover.
Hi, Gary. Hope you're watching.
I can see him like hitting a space bar, like it pauses on you. He comes out. He's like, "This is what this kid's doing."
Yeah, he's like, "This kid is an NFT." Like, what?
I would sell him.
He sells my face for $1 million, and I'm like, "Hey, can I have like 10 grand?" He's like, "No,
Absolutely not. We should do NFTs.
no, I don't want to talk about it." So it hurts my brain.
Oh no.
Okay, this is another one. So it's the Nomos Metro, Metro Neomatic, which is an automatic watch, 41 millimeter update. This watch is just under $5,000, $4,660. Again, 41 millimeters, 9.1 millimeters thick, so it's a very thin watch. But look how fucking cool that watch is.
We shot that watch.
We did shoot this watch, and this is that outer ring. The date just jumps and jumps and jumps. I think this is a fucking amazing watch. Too big for me at 41 millimeters, but an amazing watch.
100%. Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Nomos, and then you love the Tetra as well,
And the club. And the Tetra.
and you love everything.
I love everything.
He loves everything
I
from
would marry
Nomos.
Nomos if it was a woman.
Yeah. What?
What? What did you say?
Here's a little German woman.
It's
She
weird.
comes here.
She's like, "I am Nomos." I was like, "What?" Oops.
The next watch under $5,000 that I really think that everyone should be paying more attention to is the Tudor Black Bay 58 925.
925
Made out of
because
sterling silver.
Yes.
This watch comes in at $4,400. It's the Black Bay 58, so it's 39 millimeters, which is you just wore it at London Jewelers.
it fits perfectly.
Love that size.
Yep, same.
You said 92.5% silver.
Yeah, 925, which is pretty obvious. But the reason I added that note is because when we first talked about this, Tudor was saying we have a specific alloy with that 7.5 or 7.8% extra alloys that we can use, or metal that we can use, so it doesn't tarnish, or the tarnishing is reduced. So I did a little research on it, and basically everybody was like, "No, it tarnishes." So that's the worst picture I saw, where that kind of just looks like damage.
Yeah.
But besides that picture, it does tarnish regularly as sterling silver does, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. I mean, I'm actually, we're working on a project with Tudor. We're going to be working on a project with Tudor very, very soon, and it's actually around this watch, which is what brought it to my attention.
Oh, that's very cool.
So we'll know firsthand through regular usage if it does or does not tarnish. Because obviously you're saying it does, and I believe you, of course. But a lot of people, they expedite the tarnishing in their own ways. I mean, I don't know. People do it with bronze too. It's weird.
Right.
I'm sure it will tarnish.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, this kind of looks like it's pitting.
That's what I thought
that looks
too.
Fucked up. I don't believe this guy.
Look up just Tudor silver tarnishing, because like I said, that's the worst thing. But that guy could be like, "I did nothing to it. All I did was put it in I'm a chemist. I just wore it to work."
Yeah, right.
You know.
I mean, that looks a lot more normal.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll definitely tell you firsthand what average wear, as I define it, and I will define it, looks like. I'm thinking a couple of days a week, desk diving. I'm not going to be really doing a crazy stuff with it. I'll be going to the diner.
Ooh.
I have a diner down the block from my place. I love it.
Is it the one that looks literally just like
Yes!
I always walk by and I'm like,
Vicky's Diner.
no one ever takes me there.
Do you want to go there?
I'm busy. I have work.
What would you eat?
I don't know, whatever they have.
I love like an old New Jersey diner. Do you have diners up in Cape Cod?
Yeah.
Because it's really a regional. Like diners are way more of a New Jersey thing,
We have
right?
in my town, it's Marshland, which is it's like a Cape Cod version. It looks like an old wooden diner.
Yeah.
The inside, it's like the tables are square.
I love that.
And the server comes in the middle and serves everybody around the table.
I like that.
Yes, you should come.
When I tell you to bury a body in the mash,
Yeah.
you put him in the mash.
Yeah.
You know what that's from?
Yes.
The Departed.
Yep.
You're an idiot.
With you, if it's a quote with an accent, it's one of 3 movies.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's either
Good
Departed.
hunting. Anyway, this is a great watch. It's a Submariner alternative, obviously.
Yes.
And frankly, I think, like we said with the stuff last week, there's never been a better time for a fucking Submariner alternative.
Very true. And just looking at this watch, a sterling silver 39mm Submariner alternative from a Rolex sister brand, not a random brand.
No, absolutely.
For $4,400 and
200 meters water resistance, yeah.
But that's an insane deal.
It's a crazy
in
good
this
watch.
market right now. If that had a different logo on it, this would be a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
It's ridiculous.
You know, like if Rolex releases sterling silver Submariner, you wouldn't be able to get one for the price.
The watch is 30 or 40 grand in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds.
That's what's so crazy about this
deal. Probably
deal.
better. Like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Tudor has every right to the Oyster legacy and all that stuff. So I think this is a fantastic watch. I'm looking forward to getting it on the wrist.
Yep. I can't wait to see that too.
I love the dial too, that taupe, that really pretty.
Yep.
And I would only wear it on the band like that.
Yes.
I would never put it on.
A distressed gray suede strap.
And so I think this is a fantastic piece. Another watch under $5,000. That is a heavy buy. Okay, before we get into our next watches actually, because it's a couple, and they're from Hamilton. And Hamilton is a brand that
kind of the king of value too.
Yeah, super big value.
Yep.
We will talk for a second about our sponsor for today's video, Geology. Geology is an extremely simple and effective skincare routine that is customized just for you through an online forum survey, which took me like a minute and a half. It was it was like a joke.
Yep. Geology's skincare is built around just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. I'm not even going to try and read them, not because they're crazy, just because I can't read, but they're here.
But being able to pronounce these things, I'm gonna wear.
I wear no ribbon. I can't say them.
Exactly. I think that the point there is that yes, these are proven, reliable, trusted, all these things. But a lot of companies out there now are kind of doing this whole snake oil bullshit. And I get where it comes from because of course. I see it in all different industries, right? Yeah. You know, a new startup, wants to put this like big fat margin, product. Mm-hmm. The actual product itself maybe has no toxic value or toxic threat, but it's full of shit, and they're charging big money for it. Geology basically stands in opposition as the antithesis of that kind of like new bullshit business model.
I see it as the biggest thing is you have your profile. You say they basically ask you like, what are some skincare issues you have? Mine was that my face is very slimy all the time.
Well, it was greasy.
Slimy, dude, you're too hot.
I say it's
too hot on yourself. So you basically say like what is wrong. They say what are the goals that you want to achieve, anti-aging, whatever it may be.
Right.
There are proven products that work.
Yes.
And they're not trying to say like, oh, we made this classic new thing that you've never tried before. They're saying this is exactly what will treat what you want to be.
I view it as geology in my experience was like, you're walking into this, this skincare store and you've got a personalized, professional that's walking you through the store and saying, okay, what's the problem? Okay, you need this, and this, and use this often and this often. And I think that's fantastic. And that's kind of what not that I ever wanted to do it because I did not want to do it because I'm terrified of skincare. I have fine skin, not great skin, but fine skin. Yep. And I'm afraid of touching it because I'm going to f it up. And some people say you can't lose an inch. That's how I feel about my skin.
Yeah, right.
It's like right there. But I felt very comfortable. I had no hesitation, literally no hesitation. Yeah. And I was trying to reduce some darkness under my eyes. And it's a process. But I like the way the product has felt. Yeah. I like the way my skin feels. And I've been very happy with everything thus far.
Yeah. Okay, so really all you have to do is you click the link that we provided.
Yep.
You take a 30-second quiz, and it asks you things like I said, anti-aging, is your skin greasy, is it anything like that? Yep. And then Geology will help you make handsome a habit.
I love brand speak.
Top comment, these two ugly guys need a lot of Geology.
Yeah. We should pour a bunch of fucking Geology.
Then we have to... Why don't you guys start drinking it? Then we have to pretend like it doesn't bother us.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll start off with a complete 30-day trial set, which comes with everyday face wash, vital morning face cream, repairing night cream, nourishing eye cream. It includes 2 bottles of face wash as well, one for the sink, and then one for the shower or take it to the gym or whatever. Yep. I think that's very, very useful. And then you continue from there after the 30 days with a 90-day program of supplies, the products that you really like the most.
So you can head to geology.com/Theo and Harris to 1, take the quiz, and then 2, save 50% off on your 30-day trial.
I think we ought to get back into the next brand, which is Hamilton.
Alexander himself.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. The first watch from Hamilton I want to talk about was the khaki field watch.
Yes, the legend.
Absolutely love this watch.
Yeah.
It comes with a white dial, it comes with a black dial, it comes in a bronze case.
Yep.
Bunch of different configurations.
This is Hamilton's watch, essentially. This is the watch that they have a ton of different versions of, ton of different movements on the inside. There's special editions, which you actually know a little bit more about than me, but it reminds me of the Dirty Dozen, and it was actually built off of that foundation of just a super reliable field watch.
Yes, a watch that would be able to, kind of withstand the environmental pressures of being at war, or at this instance, at conflict in Vietnam, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
The point is, it was the right. Like,
exactly.
You knew that everyone was wearing this, was about to kind of be exposed to. And you have to get through it, and you need a trusty watch to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the Hamiltons of today, the Hamilton khaki field of today, are very reminiscent. They're very true to these original GI watches, and I really don't think around $500 that you can find a better deal. I mean, this is just about perfect.
Yeah.
Again, mechanical, the perfect size, good proportions, the brand, the legacy. Does it dress up well? Like is it a formal watch? No, it's not. It's not a formal watch. Even if you put a really nice strap on it, it's not a formal watch.
It's too detailed.
It is sporty. It is a sporty
100%.
watch. That being said, I think that if you do put a nice strap, it'll never look formal, but it could be very James Bond in that, like, it's tough, but as long as you have it clean and elegant, it can look nice with a sport jacket if you want to go that way. I mean, it's a look. It's a look. I would think that the guy was cool. I wouldn't necessarily wear that watch with a suit, but I'd be like, oh, that guy's.
He clearly thought about what he was going to put on.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel.
And I just feel like that's like your trusty everyday watch. Like if you, my friend is, I forget his specific job, but he's the Lorax. He walks around like Forest all day and checks the land and stuff. I could see him wearing that watch.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is a great watch under $5,000 and well under $5,000.
Yes.
And the other one I want to talk about, again, also from Hamilton, is their Intramatic. This watch is $2,000. It's a chronograph, 40 millimeters, and it's just a kind of not a reissue or a reimagination of a watch from 1968. Their original, Panda dial chronograph. Big pushers, faux lume, faux patina, which I like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I would love it on the bracelet. The bracelet is very cool. I'd probably put it on a strap.
Okay.
But all in all, at 40 mil, that's a great watch for a whole hell of a lot of people.
40 mil is perfect. Classic design. Beautiful design.
Yep.
And all of that, 100 meters water resistant, which is great. 60-hour power reserve.
Yep.
And it's just a classic, good-looking design. That can go anywhere.
I agree. The pushers are huge, but it's a cool watch. And again, at $2,000, it's a little bit big for my wrist, but at $2,000, I would recommend that to a bunch of people that are. I mean, I have a small wrist. I have a small wrist. I have a
we both have small wrists, so we're always just like, that's a little too big.
Yeah, right. But it doesn't mean the watch is too big. It means that it just doesn't.
We're technically too small.
We're a little too small.
Yeah, right.
I call the watch too big, and the guy at Hamilton's like, big. But it's true. So I think this is another great watch under $5,000 and well under $5,000.
Yes.
One more I wanted to talk about is the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage.
I was surprised this was under $5,000.
So was I.
I've seen them in the metal. I never looked at the price. I always thought higher up.
I love the new version of this watch. This is the third iteration of the Super Ocean Heritage, and I think it's very, very cool. This one's 42 millimeters. This is a special edition for Outer Known, so this is not one that you're going to get a million times over.
Right.
But I do love this particular example.
Yep.
And
I like how the loom the indices go through the loom.
Yes.
At the 12, 3, 6, and 9.
Yes. The more standard model is this blue model, which is very, very cool. Obviously, that one was nuts.
Limited edition.
That was limited as well. But they also come with these really awesome straps, too.
Yeah.
I really like this watch. It's fun. That was the Outer Known collab.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What size is this again?
42 millimeters.
42.
So it's a big watch.
Us on everyone.
It's a big watch, but it really is very, very nice. In a world that is extremely hungry for the Submariner, in a world that they're just impossible.
Right.
This is a great answer. It's a great alternative. It's interesting. It has vintage aesthetic. It has great brand legacy. The Breitling name is not equal with Rolex, but very, very rich and very, very close.
Yep.
I think there's a whole hell of a lot to love about this watch.
This is just it's a very major thing of the design, but a minor thing to mention. It's just cool that that's a convex watch. Or no, that's a concave watch instead of a typical convex, which you see.
Exactly. Well, it's the bezel itself kind of has this like saucer kind of
Yeah,
a thing,
right.
which is very, very cool.
It's just an interesting shape to be seen on someone's wrist. Like from any angle, if you notice that, you'd be like, oh, that's interesting.
That's weird.
His watch
That's cool.
dips in.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
Anyway, fantastic job, Breitling. I think you guys did a great job with this piece. Period.
Yeah.
End. Okay, I think before we sign off, we look at a couple of things on Instagram. I think that's people have been enjoying that, and then once we do that, then we'll end it. But listen, people are commuting, people are enjoying their day. They don't want the video to end.
No.
They don't want the video to end.
No.
All right, cool. Let's look at this. Boom. That is my watch.
That is your
watch. But
watch.
on a crazy cool strap.
That is a strap that I could see you getting easily. Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
Did they say where that strap's from?
They didn't, but I will find out.
That's a little
Isn't
rude.
that beautiful?
Yeah.
I like straps like that.
A loud strap. That's a very loud watch, but a loud strap usually is how you can add your personality.
Totally.
But doing like a maximum design style watch like that watch, adding that strap on is very, very cool.
No,
it's the
I
same
agree.
guy.
I'm gonna find that strap and I'm gonna buy it.
Yep, done.
Now this is an interesting subject. This is the Patek 1518, which was their first perpetual calendar chronograph.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that the patina on the gold.
Oh yeah.
That is likely yellow gold. But the patina has this red, like really deep red color, which I think is fucking nuts. And even if that is a rose gold watch, which I don't think it is, but even if it is, there's still a tremendous amount of patina on that watch.
What is it, oxygen that does that to gold?
Well, yes,
Or lack
it's not
of?
to gold. 24 karat gold does not tarnish, does not patina, but because it's 18 karat, the other mixed alloys do. So that's, and look at this watch. If you put this watch next to another one, this is far redder, more orange than what you would expect from a gold
watch. It just
watch.
burns over time.
Totally.
Gold is one of the coolest, or I guess not gold. The other metals in gold usually make gold just get more and more beautiful if you don't treat it, because it turns like purple, dark red, like all this crazy stuff.
Last photo, but certainly not the least. AP came out with their new releases last week, and we'll talk all about them in a different episode, probably next week. But what do you think about this 37 millimeter Royal Oak with this ice blue dial?
Insane. Seeing it play in the light, insane.
That is gorgeous, isn't it?
That's wild.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's kind of a mind because you're expecting that light blue to be with platinum. Because of Rolex. Rolex has conditioned you to believe that.
Yeah, of course.
But that is the first time AP has done a Royal Oak like that in that color, and I think it's just spectacular.
That plays with the light so well.
Totally.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And Royal Audemars Piguet had a dial like this in their chronograph, but that was a white gold watch.
They did, because that was the video. We made a video on that.
Yeah, exactly. We did. And then this is the darker blue, which is more ordinary, but apparently the shade of blue is extremely close to the original Royal Oaks, which was very strategic. This is the other watch that we were looking at the other day, which is the chronograph.
It's nuts.
Which is nuts. Which one do you prefer, the chronograph or the time only?
What size is that chronograph?
38.
Chronograph. More detail, smaller size, 100%.
Well, no, it's 38. This is the other one's 37. I don't know.
You'll have to buy them both so I can.
I know. I'm
just
really trying to get an AP,
just have to
guys,
look.
and now I'm having a hard time. I was dead set on the chronograph, and now this time only just totally kind of is killing me. It's really man.
It's bearable. Work lately.
I can't even focus.
I can't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we have 2 shoots today. I drove to Christian's apartment at 7:30, which is when we were gonna meet. When I was supposed to be here, but Christian was just relaxing and watching a YouTube video, and he was like, "Technically,
I was getting ready.
Technically, I would have been very late."
But you're late, so I'm.
But now you're late. You should have been at Tito's.
Speaking of which, why the you late? You're not being paid.
I should be actually asking you. I'm like, what?
But yeah, so all right, that's my Instagram scroll. That was the episode. Thank you, Geology. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yep,
you guys are the best.
Yep,
and get the f out of here. I'm done. I gotta go do my own stuff. I gotta go pine over these Royal Oaks.
Yeah.